Let's start with lesson number 9, the freedom movement of 1857. Now, we have already learnt in previous history lessons how British used oppressive policies to expand their British Empire in India. By 1857, the British had established colonial domination over a major part of India through arbitrary methods of annexation and harsh economic policies. The kings, queens, peasants, landlords, tribals, and soldiers were all affected in different ways. During the first half of the 19th century, a series of revolts broke out. These revolts failed to achieve much success because they were confined to one region or section of society. The reason was that we did not have good communication system, and one region was not aware of what is happening in the other region of the same country. Eventually, a much wider revolt joined by many other sections later on, and others like zamindars, soldiers and common people also added to this revolt. This revolt against British rule is known as the Revolt of 1857. Now, why does a revolt take place? Revolt would take place when people express the resentment against the authorities in a number of ways. Usually, people resort to a revolt when they feel that it is no longer possible to put this existing situation. Now, let's understand each one, the reasons for the outbreak of the revolt. Now, there were many: social, religious, economic, we will see political, military, and immediate cause, which led to the outbreak of the 1857 revolt. Now, first we will see the discontent, how among different communities took place. We have seen how the colonial power in India was dominated by the British. At the same time, industrial revolution had taken place in England, and they wanted a new market in India to sell their finished goods. At the same time, they wanted cheap raw materials like cotton for manufacturing cotton textile. This affected the handloom industry, this affected the farmers and the peasants and even landlords. So, in short, even tribals were affected. Okay. So, in some way or another, all the communities were affected, and this led to widespread discontent among the different communities, leading to the revolt of 1857. First, we will see in detail the socio-religious reasons. Social reforms introduced by the British were viewed as a threat. The British passed laws to stop various social evils prevailing at that time. The major ones were sati system, widow remarriage, girls were not allowed to go for school. So these were some of the reasons, and some of our leading reformers, social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and others, they tried to convince these British officers to introduce new laws. So abolition of sati, legislation of widow remarriage. Now legislation means to change the law. Okay, here amendment of the law. In Hindu community, widows were not allowed to marry. But due to the request and suggestion of our reformers, social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, governor generals of that time were asked to introduce a legislation or a law which would allow widows to remarry and also abolish the practice of sati. All these changes in the religious and social matters were looked upon by suspicion by conservative sections of Indian society. They felt that the British were interfering in the social customs of the country. Many Indians felt that the British intended to convert them to Christianity forcibly to the missionary activities. Now, these Christian missionaries were people, the priests who were brought with the East India Company when they came to trade. In addition to expansion of British Empire in India, they also intended to increase the number of Christians in the world. So they wanted to spread their religion, and they did this by making churches, by making schools where they taught not only English language but English education, but also spread the teachings of Christianity, that is Bible. Next we will see economic causes or reasons. Here you will see harsh land revenue policies were introduced by the British, and maximum land revenue was extracted by the East India Company. The peasants became miserable and poor. They were not able to pay the increasing taxes which they were levied by the British. The new zamindars and moneylenders were cruel. They also looted the peasants. When the peasants were not able to pay the taxes or the loan taken from the zamindars, they were taken away, the land was taken away by zamindars and moneylenders by force. This led to the poverty. In addition to this, famine also added to their misery, leaving death and devastation behind. British manufactured goods were also so cheap that Indian handloom made goods were costlier now, and at the same time they were not uniform, they were taking longer time to manufacture, and they were costlier, so people did not prefer to buy those goods. They preferred buying cheaper uniform machine made goods which were imported from Britain. This again ruined the Indian cottage industry. Then we shall see political reasons. British policies of conquest were very harsh. They created unrest among Indian rulers. Like you have learnt in the previous lessons, how Dalhousie and Wellesley, they introduced different policies. Now the policy of subsidiary alliance we have seen, and the doctrine of lapse, which deprived the rulers of their power and status. For example, Rani Lakshmibai was prevented from putting her adopted son on the throne. At the same time, injustice was done to Indian rulers. We have learnt all these things in the previous history lessons. Landlords and peasants also lost their land. Next we shall see the military causes. Indian soldiers who formed more than 85% of the British troops in India suffered from oppressive British rule as well. The soldiers were always looked upon as inferior. Indian sepoys were looked upon as inferior, and they were treated badly by the British superiors or the officers. They were paid far lesser than the British soldiers. Even though if they were capable, they were never put to the higher post or paid higher salaries. Higher posts in the military were reserved only for the British. The sepoys were forbidden to wear turban or headgear. They were not allowed to put any symbol on their forehead also. Now, according to some religions and traditions, the Indian sepoys did not want to travel overseas also. They believed that traveling overseas was a sin, and they would be treated as outcast. They would not be accepted by the Hindu community if they went overseas. And the British East India Company forced these sepoys to travel by sea. So, like other Indians, the soldiers too felt that their religion was at stake. They too shared the same sentiment of grief, suspicion, and anger as other Indian communities did. All this led to a widespread discontent in the soldiers of the Indian sepoys in the East India Company. And the the immediate cause, or the cause due to which the revolt triggered, okay, is the introduction of the Enfield rifle in 1857. This introduction of this rifle triggered as a starting point of the revolt, okay. You can say that the greased cartridges for these rifles had to be bitten off before being inserted into the rifle. You can see in this image there are three bullets kept, and they were supposed to be greased with the beef or the beef of cow or pig. And rumors had spread in the sepoy camps that the grease contained fat from pigs and cows. Hindus and Muslim sepoys objected to using them. because both the community religions did not agree to this. The sepoys thought that the British were deliberately trying to hurt their religious sentiments. So this really angered the sepoys. Hence, when in the 19th Battalion of Barakpur, when this was first introduced, and the sepoys in this Barakpur refused to use this cartridge and revolted, they were imprisoned. This resulted in the outbreak of the revolt. So here we come to the end of the first part of the 1857 revolt, that is the reasons that led to the revolt. In the next session we will learn the further details.